Hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there. Welcome back to the Agostino Zinga show with your host, Agostino Zinga. Hope you are hearing me nice and loud, nice and soft. Hope it's not coming through too crackly. Actually, may have to lower the gain here. I think I can feel a little bit of feedback there, don't I? I feel like I feel a little bit of feedback. So let me lower the gain slightly over here. Let me put it to like 12. Hopefully that isn't too bad, and you can hear me loud and clear. You can hear me loud and somewhat clear. Welcome back to the random show. No, the Agostino Zinga show, not the random show. Random show will be later. I was actually just taking a little longer because I had to set up the random show on the other side of doing things, man. Yeah, I can't wait till there's probably never going to be I was about to say there's probably never going to be a day where I'll have an assistant. I'll be able to set up the streams for me. Not that I won't ever get to that level, but I think I prefer doing it on my own. So I don't think there'll come a time where I'll be able to relinquish that level of control, because I've been doing, what is it, 1,000 episodes now, plus random show, plus all the other streams I've done, probably over 2,000 live streams. I think probably over 2,000 live streams so far. It's going to be very difficult to then get to a level where, like, you know what, let me outsource this. So not going to do that anytime soon. Hope all you are good. Hope you are well wherever you guys may be. Hope you are good. Hope you're well wherever you guys may be. I wanted to quickly mention something, right? That I thought was kind of interesting, right? Kind of interesting. So last night on the flipping random show stream, towards the end of that stream, I was watching the fight between Blueface and this guy called Chibu. Not just sure if you guys know about this, but Blueface v Chibu happened, and I was watching this full fight the other day as I was on live. And pauses for the random show the other day. I'm sure some of you guys were there. If you were there, let me know. But I was watching that live stream of that fight. You know what amused me? You know what really amused me while I was watching the fight? I didn't realize how, forgive my ignorance, right? I know it's going to sound very, very dumb and very fucking naive, but I didn't realize how important cardio was in boxing. I know Blueface was facing this Chibu dude who allegedly is more of a heavyweight than him. I think they said what is it? I think they said Blueface's actual ideal weight should be like 175, 170. I don't know what weight class that is, but that's what he's meant to be. He's not really a heavyweight, but obviously since he's come out of prison, he's put on a few pounds. He's a lot slimmer than he was when he first came out, but he's obviously a little bit bigger than he was when before he went in. We all kind of known him for being quite skinny. But he moved up to heavyweight to fight this guy called Chibu. And I think some people online have been saying that because this other kid he was facing is like a natural heavyweight, there's just a reason why they have weight classes. So he's always going to have a particular level of power and able to be sitting to his punches. But what I realized when I was watching it, forget the power, I was surprised by how much cardio played a role. So this Chibu kid, I've got the thing on stream now watching. If you're not watching this live, I'll put the link of the fight yourself so you can watch it live. It was pretty interesting. Adin Ross, the live streamer, has his own boxing promotion thing called Brandrisk. This was fight number 13 of Brandrisk, and I really enjoyed it. Production is really good too, because he invites a bunch of streamers there and they live stream it themselves. So you get to kind of see it through the streamer's perspective, and you get to see it officially through the Brandrisk account, or no, the Adin Ross accounts around Kick, which is kind of cool. But I was surprised by how much cardio played a role, honestly, because I think in terms of crisp boxing skills, right? In terms of crisp boxing skills, I think Blueface probably gets a little bit of an advantage over Chibu. I think Blueface is probably a couple of inches, a couple of levels above Chibu when it comes to crisp boxing skills. But obviously, when it comes to cardio, when it comes to being on the front foot, this Chibu kid was just in Blueface's face throughout the majority of the fight. He just didn't let up, and that's incredible. And if you actually watch the fight, the Chibu kid is obviously quite overweight, but he still has an incredible engine. So I can only imagine how fit, how much his engine, his cardio will improve when he does eventually lose weight. And eventually, that is what led to Blueface losing the fight. He couldn't overcome the pressure, he couldn't overcome the flurry of punches. He was trying to be more precise, but in this sort of fight, when the other fighter's just pushing in front of you and stepping in front of you and just hitting you with a flurry of shots, you're better off trying to hit them with a flurry of shots back. You should just wait for your opportunity to kind of hit them and to be precise, because the lack of activity will make it look like the other guy was winning. And I thought Chibu wasn't winning in the beginning, but because he was swinging a lot and missing, but it ended up paying dividends because towards the end of the fight, Blueface was really gassed and didn't know what to do. And his face, you know, he wasn't able to move as much and duck the punches, and that's when Chibu was able to kind of pick him off with some decent shots. So it was a decent fight. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. The Chibu kid ended up winning by unanimous decision, which obviously I think Blueface didn't agree with, but I think overall he definitely deserved to win that fight, and it was a really interesting one. I'm actually going to, let me fast forward a little bit here towards the end. You'll see the Blueface's stamina or cardio kind of dropped, and I think the one thing people see mostly when you're tired is your mouth open, innit? I think that's one of the telltale signs that you're definitely cardio is dropping when you start mouth breathing instead of breathing through your nose, which you're meant to be doing. But a decent little fight. I enjoyed it nonetheless. Moving on, talking about things that I didn't enjoy. Right? This has been a common thing happening through Clavicular streams. This is a very common thing regarding Clavicular, the live streamer streams, right? The Looksmaxxing guy. Whenever he goes out, he'll stumble across girls, especially, you know, the girls that he's into anyway, the young girls, who will invariably, at least one of them, will have a boyfriend. Now, some of the times when you watch these streams and you see these clips of these girls with boyfriends overly flirting with Clavicular or the other way around, you sometimes think it's part of the bit. It's like a troll. Oh yeah, I've got a boyfriend, and it kind of adds a little bit of extra naughtiness, let's say, to the interaction. But most of the time, it's actually true. Most of the time, these girls do have boyfriends, but they're all on stream, all over Clavicular, all up in his face, sitting on his lap, dancing, you know, very sexually onto him, or just going back to the crib in general. And for the most part, if you've watched a Clavicular stream, you'll know 9 times out of 10, if the girls go back in his sprinter and go back to his house, it's more than likely that those girls are going to engage in some adult fun. It's very unlikely that it's not going to happen. So in this particular occasion, this has gone somewhat viral over the weekend. Clavicula's in the party. I think, did he go to the party? I don't know what way he went, but he just came back home, and he had this one girl in his sprinter, this kind of Indian looking type of girl, and it went completely viral because people on the internet found out that this girl has a boyfriend. Don't ask me how these guys are finding these girls' IDs. That's something as well that's been really spooky. I've noticed whenever I've kind of checked out Clavicular stream, I've noticed in the stream chat, the guys are so good at doxing these girls and IDing them. I don't know how they do it. A lot of these girls don't even say their names on stream, you know? A lot of these girls don't even say their names on stream, or they say their first name, just their first name. And some people in the stream chat, if you look on Kick, it goes by really quickly, but you'll just notice it. They'll dox their full fucking government. You're like, how the hell did you find them? They'll link you their social media accounts. Is pretty fucking crazy. So in this particular occasion, they found out who this girl was, and they basically were able to see, oh, she has a boyfriend who she went to fucking prom with and everything, like you. So they spammed it in Clavicular stream chat. He's really good at kind of reading the stream chat, and he eventually ended up kicking this girl out of the sprinter. But I just want to know, like, is this like a common thing in America? Is this more of a common thing with younger girls, or is this just a consequence of Clavicular being very famous and being very clouted and rich, and these girls just can't resist? You know, they can't resist his looks, they can't resist his money. Because this is really concerning if all of these girls who say that, you know, who it seems to have boyfriends, go to these clubs and not only hook up with strangers, right, off camera, but they don't mind hooking up with one of the most famous streamers now, currently, on fucking live stream. Like, what the hell is going on? Are they not aware that they're gonna get caught? Do they not bother? Are they not worried about how that's gonna hurt the guy's feelings? It's just so fucking crazy seeing this stuff play out in real time. The only saving grace with all of this stuff is that lately, anyway, in the past, Clavicular would have still fucked this girl, but it's the only saving grace now is that he doesn't go forward with it. He usually kicks these girls off of the sprinter. He kicks them out of the house. When he finds out they've got girlfriends, he's usually very good at getting rid of them. In the past, he would still go through, but I'm glad he doesn't, because that would just create a whole nother problem. So let me play there's a couple of clips I want to play from the stream to illustrate what's going on. The first one, the title is, "This girl started panicking the moment she realized she was being live streamed after cheating on her boyfriend with Clavicular." I don't know how you can only realize that you're being live streamed now. Also, you're talking to a fucking you're talking to a live streamer. You should be aware, or you should know that if there's a camera in front of them, most likely that camera's fucking live. It shouldn't be in, you know, This shouldn't be a fucking shocker to this lady, but she was still surprised. But let's play the video anyway.
Okay, we got you. Here, come sit with me. We don't have that many seats, so you guys sit with me.
I really don't want to.
Sitting on laps as well, like God almighty.
Plan, my man.
It's not gonna be on the YouTube
Alright.
or the live stream, right?
No.
And the thing is really crazy too. She's not even his type. He usually likes the blondes. She looks like, I don't know if she's white or if she's Indian, but she's more olive skin, let's say. So she's not even like his type kind of thing, you know. He's just going through for the sake of going through. That's gonna hurt you even more because he definitely won't be interested in this girl after the fact, you know. It's like, God damn it, man. And that allegedly is the boyfriend there on the right hand side in their what looks like prom outfits.
Take it out of the YouTube video. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Better stop. Dude, it's genuinely so hot. Drinking.
Wait, I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be in it.
Oh, no, not. I know YouTube video, guy. Don't put her in the YouTube video.
Please don't. I don't want to be in it.
I don't want to be in it. Okay, we got you.
So she said that, and then the other clip I want to show you is this one. It says this one, which is this is probably the fuller one in 2 minutes. It says Clavicular kicks a girl off his stream after finding out she had a boyfriend of 2 years. 2 years. God almighty, man. Honestly, prayers to that man, and prayers to all the young men out there who have girls who are going to clubs in Miami and might kind of come across fucking Clavicular. If you're that age, I think if your girlfriend's over 25, you got nothing to worry about. But if your girlfriend's under 25, I pray for you. If you're in America and she happens to like clubbing in Miami, because if she crosses path with this guy, it seems like there's no resisting for some reason. It's fucking crazy, man. 2 years, you know. God damn.
Can you please turn off the camera?
It is awesome.
Who's your man?
I don't think so.
Is this your man? Oh, where you at?
Jesus Christ.
I don't want to be on this fucking camera. Hey, are you recording?
He's doing a
You're
YouTube
recording?
video.
I really don't want to be in it.
I know, he said he'll edit it out. I pay this guy and I tell him,
I seriously, I don't want to do it.
yeah, we're doing a YouTube video clubbing.
No, I know, but like, are you not live streaming right now?
How the fuck could we even do that? That doesn't even make any sense.
I don't know. I'm scared.
Bro. If you bring that up one more time,
Can't be scared.
I'm gonna be like, dude, there's some nice legs on you.
Thank you. I don't want to be on that.
Yo, goddamn, bro.
No, stop.
You gotta, bro, you have
No, like, not stop, chill.
Gamble max. What?
Go first.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, please. Fuck. Please let me go first. Like, fuck. What you even talking about? I don't give a fuck about you, bitch. Oh, who would have guessed?
Jesus Christ, look at that social media post.
Yeah, who the fuck would have guessed? Bro?
Jesus
like, you know
Christ.
what I'm saying?
I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be on
God
camera.
damn.
Why did you get on the fucking sprint in the first place?
Who the fuck would have guessed?
These people, man.
Like, bro.
God almighty.
Are you kidding me? Just get her out of here. Oh, come on, bro. Tell her to go home. I don't like, yeah, tell her to go home. Send her home. Oh, bro, like, fuck. Bro, why is every bitch, yeah, tell her to get her Uber home, they'll pay for it. Fuck, you know.
So yeah, eventually she got kicked out of the sprinter and told to go home. I don't know, man. When I see stuff like that, I begin to understand why some men turn into incels. I really do. I really flipping do. Because if you have that happen to you, imagine you're already a fan of Clavicular, right? Imagine you're a kid and you're 20, 21, you're a fan of Clavicular. You kind of look up to him. You like watching his streams. You just think he's cool, whatever it is. And then your girl happens to cross paths with him in a club and goes back home with him in a sprinter. And she's all on the fucking stream, sitting on his lap, talking all flirty and suggestively and shit, asking for the cameras to be turned off, both for her own privacy and so she can also get down. You'd be so crushed. This is the type of shit that births villains, you know. This is a proper villain origin story. This is how it starts. One or two bad, and nowadays people, I feel like with most humans, you don't even need to have like a series of bad events. Just one or two, or one in particular, can probably scar you and mess you up so much that it starts to dictate your outlook on the world completely. You know, even though it's just one isolated incident, you can't generalize, blah 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 blah. Well, us humans, you know, we can sometimes be a bit sensitive and a bit susceptible to maybe reading a little bit too much in a situation, but there was something that is so jarring that you can't not help but read too much into it, you know? Like it's like something like that will be so jarring, so messed up for your mind, it's hard not to read too much into it. So I don't know, man. I just send prayers to that kid. Hopefully he doesn't take it too hard, but I don't know, I'm seeing this happen so often. I don't know if it's just it might just be an age thing, because Clavicular is what, 21, 22. It might just be an age thing. Maybe at that sort of age, relationships don't really mean what they mean when you're over 25. I don't know. That might be the thing as well, right? Maybe relationships at that age aren't really relationships. They're sort of like extended hookups. But some of these people do have boyfriends and girlfriends, and especially the girls, they seem to be very susceptible. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure if you reversed it, the boys will be just as bad. But I think they'll be a lot more discreet about it. I think some of these girls are not discreet. They're all up on the camera. Like there was this one particular one, actually. There was one particular one where this older lady kissed Clavicular on stream. She looked like she might have been like in her 50s or something, or 40s. And she said, I want to kiss you. And she just kissed him on stream. And then when she turned to the side, she realized there was a camera there. And her face just turned completely cold. It's like, brother, forget the camera. Why are you kissing people in the club anyway when you're fucking married? You know, forget if the camera was there, which it always is. And that camera is usually mounted with a massive fucking light on it. Forget the fucking camera. Why are you anyway? Why the hell are you kissing strangers in the fucking club when you've got a man? I just don't understand it. I really don't. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But maybe this is the power of clout. Maybe this is what we're seeing. We're seeing the power of clout in fucking 4K. And sometimes it just makes people, you know, throw their morals, principles, whatever else out of the window. Maybe that's what we're seeing. Maybe that is what we are seeing. You never know. You never know. You never absolutely know. Continuing on from that, I just saw this article actually on the BBC. I just saw an article on Looksmaxxing on the BBC. Can you believe that? They're talking about Looksmaxxing on the BBC. Absolutely crazy how far this scene, movement, subculture, whatever you want to call it, has gone. I remember there was a time when I was searching for Looksmaxxing videos on YouTube and there weren't that many results. Especially for Looksmaxxing for like black people, right? There's a bunch of people doing it for, you know, Caucasians and shit. But in terms of like what you can do, you know, improving your looks in terms of like, I think I was looking for most of her hairstyles and shit. There wasn't a lot of channels. And just in terms of Looksmaxxing gender, there wasn't a lot of them just a few years ago. And now you type that in and it's absolutely everywhere. Every video they're talking about it. So it's pretty fucking sick to see that it's being covered on the BBC. It means it's definitely going somewhat mainstream. But I like that the actual interesting thing about Looksmaxxing is that although Clavicular is making it more popular, he's more so on the girl side of things. The things that I've seen on the .org are mostly centered towards like ascending as yourself as a man. It's not really tied to fucking girls. Clavicula's made it more so about the girls thing, but from what I've seen on Looksmaxxing.org, it's mostly just like an inner thing of wanting to ascend yourself and wanting to improve what you have, improve your base, improve your looks, improve your attractiveness, to maybe increase your potential to, you know, get more opportunities, have a brighter future, whatever else it may be. It's less so about the girl. So hopefully that side of the movement goes somewhat global and the kids get into it, because I think it's very, very helpful for most kids, I think, especially most young men, to be able to tap into that sort of stuff and learn more about how they can, you know, improve their grooming, improve their fucking looks in general. And we don't really have much, you know, to go with when it comes to improving looks as men. I always say, like, all we have outside of a beard, which I know is makeup for men, but still, we don't really have makeup. All we really have to improve ourselves is like, what, losing weight, maybe putting on some muscle and getting ripped and shit, and maybe trying to, you know, pick a haircut that actually suits our face. So when you have stuff like Looksmaxxing that allows you to do little tiny things, maybe some cosmetic surgeries, maybe some non-invasive stuff that you can do in terms of like mewing and all that malarkey to improve your jawline and your posture, all that stuff is really important. So I love to see it. I hope this is going to be more of it going soon. So the title of this article on the BBC is Sculpting Jaws, Giving Scores Inside the World of Looksmaxxing. Marvin ponders his attractiveness before giving himself a solid 7 out of 10. With a bit more work he feels he could improve. I'm not happy with my skin, eye bags, my jawline could be better, he said. If I sort all that out, I'd be a 9 out of 10. The 26-year-old is a keen Looksmaxxer. His day starts off early with a hard gym workout, then he's back home with his routine starts. After a warm ice-cold shower, he cleanses his face and rubs frozen cucumbers all over it. When he says, which he says reduces puffiness, acne, and brightens up his skin. Okay, nice. That's similar to that one guy, isn't it? I forgot his fucking name. Then he carries out his jaw and facial exercises, videos of which he's often posts to his 35,000 followers on TikTok. This is Zygo push, Marvin tells me, while pressing his thumbs directly under his cheekbones and massaging upwards towards his ears in an attempt to hollow out his cheeks. Wow, love that. Actually, what does that look like? What does the Zygo look? Does it look like what I think it was? Like 2 thumbs under the jawline? Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah, it is exactly what I thought it was. Because I do a similar exercise sometimes for my nose, for my nose, my nasal passages, because I've got like a nasal polyp. So to improve my nasal, flow, I can sometimes use exercises where I rub the side of my nose and stuff, and that really does help. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know you could do that sort of stuff. Zygo pushing to improve your cheekbones and whatnot. Pretty gnarly, that, isn't it? How to Zygo push. Simply follow the motion. Burn into the do this until reaching up to the upper lab. Okay, fair play, fair fucking play, don't mind that. Then there's the hunter squeeze. He says as he pushes his index finger behind his temple, against his temple, sorry, and squeezes his eyes, which he says will make him more wolf-like in shape. As he describes his daily regime, he laughs. People do sometimes think, what is this man doing? Yeah, for sure. Calmer nervous system, sharpens jawline, face structure, and more tension. The grind is real. It's a process. This is pretty sick. Look all these things men are doing, man. This is pretty amazing, isn't it? It's pretty amazing how far we've come. Some man just in his room just doing all of this stuff. Pretty crazy. But Marvin's confidence is helping him achieve the appearance he desires. A hollow cheek, chiseled profile, and sharp pointed eyes, and a strong jawline. Getting that look, he explains, is when a man peaks. He says he's gone from unsatisfied carpenter working 9 to 5 to an online entrepreneur. Love to hear it. Welcome to the world of Looksmaxxing, where a growing number of young men are going through great lengths to get what they see as a perfect face and body, and therefore the perfect life. Men are now carrying out a range of daily tasks, from workouts in the gym and good skincare routines known as softmaxing, and taking growth hormones and unregulated peptides. At the other end of the spectrum, known as hardmaxing, they bone smash or have jaw surgery to ascend, reach a Neanderthal-like appearance. If you don't fit this aesthetic, you're not at least working to change the way you look, then at risk of falling off into the sub-3 category, as Marvin puts it, becoming a not very good looking human being. Yeah, no one wants to be a sub-3. Nobody wants to be a sub-3. He uses face analysis app, which assesses the pictures of him to check to which kind of areas he might want to work on. Such apps have thousands of reviews on App Store. For men, Looksmaxxing has given them a rule book of what makes a successful male, and crucially, how to become one. One of the biggest influences is Braden Peters, aka Clavicular, a sharp-jawed 20-year-old whose Looksmaxxing term is a giga-chad. In his own vernacular, he mugs everyone he meets. He is so at the top of the game that he outshines everyone in his presence. I love when they write stuff like this in these articles. Mugs everyone he meets. I love it. Clavicular attributes this to, among others, taking testosterone from the age of 14 and smashing his jawbone with a hammer to supposedly reshape the lower face, neither of which is recommended by health professionals. By the way, there's pictures of it, I thought he was capping. There's no rap in his cap. There's no cap, sorry, in his raps. He showed these girls, when I was watching, I saw a clip the other day, he actually showed these girls in the club old pictures of himself bone smashing, and you can actually see pictures of himself where his entire face is red from his cheeks area, all fucking red from the bone smashing. Absolute psycho guy, man. Absolute psycho individual. So he actually did bone smash, and it does make sense though, because if you look at UFC fighters, a lot of UFC fighters who've suffered, a lot of fucking elbows, slashes, and ground and pounds to the face, you see sometimes their brows are really pronounced because of all the microfibers, the microfractures, and the way the bones regrow around it. So their faces are completely changed from how they first start. You can definitely see pictures of UFC fighters from when they first signed to the UFC to when they retire, and their facial structure, bone structure is completely changed. So the bone smashing thing does have some level of, it does make sense. If you're aiming it towards their fucking cheeks, it does make sense why it would actually help to make them look more pronounced, because as they heal, the microfractures, it kind of makes them expand. It kind of makes the bone grow a little bit and poke out. So you definitely get that shape, but it's pretty intense. It's pretty fucking intense. And I think the last time I checked, the hammer that he uses is one of those hammers they use to, like, when you beat meat, I think, right? It's like one of those kind of, it's like a mallet sort of thing that he uses, like a silver one. It's pretty intense. His content and that of similar influences has brought Looksmaxxing into a niche underground and made it more mainstream. But some have been studying the manosphere and ultra-masculine subculture that made headlines again this week as a focus of a Louis Theroux documentary, believing Looksmaxxing is a gateway to a more sinister world. It's a world that has initially found online forums and incels and young men describe themselves involuntary celibate, often full of misogynistic rhetoric, claiming women are to blame for the man's lack of sexual encounters. You know what's funny though? I think with the rise of Looksmaxxing, it's actually helped. I think the rise of Looksmaxxing has actually helped to separate people from the incel community, because I feel like nowadays, if people want to be derogatory, one way to describe any cohort or gathering of men on social media discussing things like looks and how to attract women, it's immediately kind of like judged as an incel thing. But I think because Looksmaxxing is very self-serving, right? It's kind of gay in a way, Looksmaxxing, because it's really all about you and having other men rate you. It's not really about women at all. From what I've seen when I went on the forums, there's some guys that obviously write reports on how many girls they fucked and shit, and that whole like PUA side of things. But Clavicular and those guys are kind of in their own little niche, their own little subgroup. The main area of Looksmaxxing is all about how you improve your looks. You know, it's kind of self-serving for yourself. So that's good because it helps to separate them from the fucking incel community, which is very toxic. And nowadays, anyway, people overuse the term incel. It's like, it's really dumb, you know? It's like if a guy has misogynistic thoughts, he's an incel. It's like, I don't think so. It's more, incels are way more intense than that, you know? A guy that thinks that women should just be in the kitchen is one thing, but a guy who thinks that women are the worst thing to happen to humanity is a completely different thing, you know what I mean? Incels are very, very intense. I don't think people know how intense they are, but they're very, 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 very intense. And he's going to look back on this, by the way. I'm sure he knows already, but I think Clavicular is going to look back on this New York Times debut with a lot of happiness, because this is the best cosign you ever need. If you're in a Looksmaxxing community and you want to improve your looks, you want to ascend, the best cosign you could ever get that you've actually ascended is getting booked to walk a fucking Fashion Week runway, you know? So I think Elena Velez did this guy a massive favor. Elena Velez did him a massive favor by booking him on this show, because this picture would last forever. You know, this picture is going to last forever and ever and ever, and it's going to be the barometer that Looksmaxxers will kind of rate themselves. Because I see a lot of Looksmaxxers when I go on the .org, a lot of Looksmaxxers they compare themselves to models. You know, really oddly enough, they're very like he's obsessed with what's his name? Clavicular's obsessed with the English one, right? David Gandy, the older guy who's retired. I think he's somewhat retired now, but they're all obsessed with like runway models. They're all obsessed with like male runway models, which is funny because your typical European runway model completely mogs every Looksmaxxer. They don't come close. Like a runway model that does Paris and stuff, that's European, he will make fucking Clavicular look like a femme. You know, that's a really strange thing about attractiveness. Clavicular might look attractive to like most club guys because he actually takes care of himself, right? And tries to improve his looks, but Clavicular next to an actual runway model looks like a regular dude. So there's levels to this, but this is still great endorsement. It continues. Journalist Matt Shea has made documentaries written exclusively about the dangers of toxic masculinity. He says misogynistic influencers like Andrew Tate, Clavicular, and many others and share the same ideology and use it to make money. Yeah, of course. But I think with Clavicular, at least with him, it's mostly just, it's not a scam. I'm hoping it doesn't turn into it. There's no scam. So far, there's no, with Clavicular, there's no paid fucking Discord. There's no private members Telegram. There's no Looksmaxxing guide. Like, imagine how much money this kid can make from a guide. If he sold an ebook, how to Looksmax, how to ascend or something, he'd make so much money. There's no ebook. There's nothing. All there is, if you want to support him, or the only way he makes money for the most part is club appearances. He gets some sponsors in terms of clothes, like that brand Young LA sponsors him, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He gets paid memberships on Kick, and obviously any donations. And I think KCIP, right? But that's it. But there's nothing nefarious like what Andrew Tate and those guys do. So that's the only good thing. I'm hoping it doesn't change in the future. I hope he doesn't launch a fucking mogging coin or something stupid, you know. Hope he just sticks to this. But so far, he hasn't gone down the grifting route. They tell young men how worthless they are, says Shea, then offer themselves as the solution. I think Andrew Tate does that more often. He's really prone to that. Like, I'm rich, you're not. If you want to be rich like me, like all that shit he does. They sell courses on how to increase your sexual market value. Sexual market value is crazy. SMV, basically a measurement of how attractive you are. The higher your SMV, he explains, the more likely you are to have sex with a woman. Looksmaxxing to a certain degree becomes a way to climb the attractiveness ladder. If a woman doesn't want you after all, then either you haven't done enough self-improvement, or it's either their fault, as the logic says. Scrolling online, is clear that not every Looksmaxxer buys into his ideology. There are many who say they do not identify such misogynistic messages. Leander, who would only speak to me after making it clear he did not want to be associated with incel culture. Like Marvin, he considers himself a softmaxer and says that he's improving his looks to feel good about himself. Love to hear that. In 2023, following a breakup, he began to research Looksmaxxing on his socials and developed a routine. In addition to going to the gym 5 times a week, he also has a regular ice cold face bath to reduce puffiness, tries to sleep on his back, and while he says masturbation is okay, he's cut out all pornography. Pornography has become so normalized for so many men that it's completely destroying the image of attraction of women. You know what I've also noticed I've become really numb to and I don't really like anymore? The OF streams. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking hate the OnlyFans streams. I hate, especially when Clavicular gets the girls. It's just so... I get it's transactional. It works for both, right? He gets to have like a hot girl on his stream and they get to promote their fucking things, but I fucking detest it so much. I'm so happy I'm not one of those guys that subscribes to those type of things. I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's annoying. But there are some guys out there who really suffer from paying for fucking OnlyFans to being on porn every single day to having their entire fucking discovery page on Instagram be full of girls with big tits and big asses. You know what I mean? It's just too much stimuli. It's fucking too much stimuli, and it also, I think, ruins how you talk to women in real life, because you just see too much of the top of the top of the top, you know. And you also see them in very kind of sexually suggestive ways. You don't see them as people. So when you do talk to a woman, you kind of end up talking to them in a very almost Neanderthal way, you know, because you're seeing them only as pieces of meat, for lack of a better term. But look at this before and after. Really good, isn't it? This is just from Softmaxing. Big up Leander. This is really fucking good. Look how he looked left. On the left there, he looks very puffy, full of spots and stuff. Obviously, the haircut doesn't help either. But then look at how he looks on the right. His hydration's on point. His moisturizing's on point. All the fucking spots are gone for the most part. He's got a more pronounced cheekbone or jawline in general. God damn. Softmaxing worked well for him. He improved the puffiness of his eyes as well. Well done to him. He looks like his nose is even smaller or something. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe because he's lost weight. Sick. While he doesn't rate himself on a scale of 10 like Marvin, Leander feels happy with how he looks. 80% of the time he doesn't want to sound arrogant, but if you're not conventionally attractive, he says, then there's a little softmaxing you can do. If you're in that category, the non-conventional attractiveness side, or in Marvin's term, a sub 5 out of 10, Leander says he can understand why he pushes you into the incel corner. Though he doesn't. Exactly. Most men who are sensible understand why guys go incel, because I don't think other genders understand how difficult it is when you're a man and you don't attract women, or you know that you're like a sub 5, you know you don't have the ability to attract women that you are into. That kind of blow to the confidence is fucking brutal. So it's no surprise that those guys are drawn to the incel sort of like culture and community, because regular life, you know, tells you that you're basically worthless. You know, you're not gonna be able to have children, you're not gonna be able to have a family, you're not gonna be able to settle down with anybody, because for the most part everyone that you are attracted to won't be attracted to you, which is kind of a brutal reality. But to be fair, I still think there's a step before going incel. I think the step before going full incel is just to, what's that thing called, is to just settle for what you can get. I think you're better off settling for what you can get than dreaming and hoping to get something that you're not going to be able to ever attain, you know? I think there's always a route out. I don't think you should ever go full incel. Tom Fibbe doesn't consider himself low ranking when it comes to appearance. He has always been interested in fitness and looking good, but only became involved in Looksmaxxing when he began to lose his hair, age 21. Damn, it really had a hit on my confidence, he says. It felt out of control, scary. It obviously makes you look older too, which is what nobody wants. Yeah, it looks great there. Big up Tom Tibbe. He's been taking peptides too, yeah? The Retatrutide thing. He researched different medications and started taking finasteride. I've heard that a lot about the finasteride and minoxidil to help his hair loss. Both are legal prescription in the UK. Tom feels they've made a huge difference. From there, he's began to get involved in Looksmaxxing. Now, along with the gym and good skincare routine, he injects peptides, short-chain amino acids or small proteins, which our bodies naturally produce and play a key role in skin health, immune system and hormones. They have further social media sites and filled the fridges of influencers in recent months. He takes GHKCU for his skin and hair growth, he says, and melatonin to deepen his tan. The majority of the unregulated look at his face. I like how everyone that's into Looksmaxxing has a similar sort of face in it, no? Everyone that's into Looksmaxxing has a similar-ish kind of face. Big up, big up. The majority of the unregulated peptides have been tested on animals, not on humans, meaning they're not considered safe or effective. The Medicines Health and Regulatory Authority, MHRA, issued a warning about their use. Of course they did, shut up. He looks good though. Strong pronounced jawline, good brow. You know, he looks good. He looks fucking good for the most part. Big up Keepy. Yeah, exactly. Even Clav has flaws. I mean, his face is not perfect. No, of course not. To be fair, I don't think anyone's face is perfect. Actually, there is. Yeah, I think if you want probably a perfect white male face, probably might be that Manu Rios kid, isn't it? In terms of like Caucasian males. But I think Clavicular wants to look like Sean O'Pride, innit? I think that's Clavicular's barometer of like exceptional looks in the face. I think he wants to get on the Sean O'Pride level, and that's like a famous male model from back in the day. I think he's all models now, but yeah. Tommy lives in Manchester, is unfazed. He gives advice on social media about how to enhance yourself. The problem is when the problem is when impressionable 18-year-olds see people bone smashing and extreme Looksmaxxing. It definitely does have a negative effect on their perception of what it should look like, of what they should look like. Sorry. There is a spectrum to Looksmaxxing, and Solia, a researcher at the University of Portsmouth, said there's a positive side of men caring about their health and getting fit, but the problem soon starts when it becomes the only thing and you take risk on your health or you try to improve your looks. I don't think that's a problem though. Taking risk is, you might as well take a risk. You might as well roll the dice because your genes or what you were born with aren't enough. So if you want to improve your ability to attract the women that you want to attract and to live a life that you want to live, you have to roll the dice. Nothing great comes without risk. Nothing great comes without risk. I don't think most men give a fuck, to be fair. I think they'd rather die trying to ascend than live a life of being a sub-3. Solia says the posts young men see on their feeds, partly driven by powerful algorithms, can lead them into a darker corner. And to be fair as well, the majority of Looksmaxxing isn't about surgery. That's something you have to give men credit for. On the women's side of things, they've kind of accepted that surgery is one of the things that you should do, right? The BBLs, the jaws, the fucking lipos, the breast augmentation, lift, whatever. Plastic surgery is very, very accepted on the women's side of things. But at least with men, to be fair, there's not really a lot of talk. The only thing I've seen in terms of surgery has been hair surgery to get the hair back and stuff, and obviously the stuff with the lengthening of the legs. But that's also a very small amount of people that do that. But apart from that, most people who are into Looksmaxxing do skincare. They do the fucking peptides or the GLP-1s to kind of lose your weight and shit. Peptides and whatever else it may be. All that stuff, just the basics to kind of get you, you know, from where you are to a decent enough level, which I think is a good thing, you know, because the negative could be everyone's into fucking plastic surgery and looking at how to get fucking, you know, facelifts and shit. If after going to such lengths of enhancing appearance, these men feel more women are still not attracted to them, Soleil says, will they hate women because women are at fault? No, that's not true. That won't happen though. No guy that gets into Looksmaxxing doesn't end up attracting more. It just is what it is, because for the most part, I think most men, I've said it prior before, I think it's even more so with women, because women dress sizes really, you know, really kind of drop drastically when you lose a bit of weight. But I think most guys can benefit from losing 20 to 30 pounds. 20 to 30 pounds will drastically change your looks, you know, drastically change your looks. So I can't imagine how much your looks will change and your ability to attract certain people if you then decided to actually go into Looksmaxxing stuff and enjoy, you know, and do the things that people do in Looksmaxxing. It could, the sky is the limit. The sky is truly fucking the limit. So I love all that shit. I'm really for it. I encourage it. I think it's fucking awesome to see guys taking interest in looking after themselves in that way going forward. I really love it. I personally love it. I personally love it. Continuing on. Let's continue on. I wanted to make a short point. Quick point regarding the Tyshawn Jones controversy and revelations recently, right? So Tyshawn Jones was on a recent podcast talking about his time at Supreme and how he was the first ever skater to be actually paid there, which I didn't know. I didn't know Supreme never paid their skaters, which is fucking crazy. I think most skateboarders who are part of a team or who skate for a brand, they get paid. It's not just, you don't just get free shit, you actually get money. So to him to not get any money is fucking insane. But again, Supreme's probably, you know, Supreme's clout's eternal. People with the high, you know, like people are willing to do whatever for Supreme. I know I am anyway. So I can only imagine what Tyshawn would do. But Tyshawn was smart enough to, you know, ask a question, and that question led to an answer, and that answer was somewhere in the region of $83,000 a month he was getting paid by Supreme. Unfortunately, that deal was terminated once Tyshawn Jones appeared in a Marc Jacobs campaign, and he was then terminated from his deal at Supreme because of breach of contract. And then he's now suing Supreme in court for 26 million, I think, for unpaid wages and loss of wages and loss of earnings or whatever else and opportunities. And his argument is that Marc Jacobs and Supreme aren't in the same competition or category, so it shouldn't have been a problem if he started in the campaign. Anyway, all of that has kind of stirred a conversation online about what people would do for $83,000 a month, right? How would they be happy wearing Supreme all the time? And people are obviously calling out Tyshawn Jones for being fucking, not say greedy, but for basically not thinking well and not just wearing fucking Supreme until his deal ran out. Like, that's what I said initially. When I read this story, I thought it was completely dumb, and I thought what he should have done was taken extreme caution and been aware that although Marc Jacobs is like a fashion brand, that, you know, for sure Marc Jacobs has more to do with fashion. He has to do with streetwear. He's like fashion with a capital F. I think nowadays, considering how the lines are blurred and considering how a lot of people wear streetwear, mix it with fashion, a lot of streetwear brands are sold in boutique fashion, you know, shops and stuff, and multi-brand stores like Dover Street Market have sections where Supreme and all these streetwear brands are mixing with other higher end brands. I think it's only makes sense that a brand like Supreme will be sensitive or to like having one of their marquee skaters in an advert wearing Marc Jacobs. It'd create some confusion, right? It wouldn't really sit right with them. So I think if I was Tyshawn Jones, I would have never even done the advert. I would just assumed it would have been an issue, or at least asked first before doing it. But I also think Supreme probably overpaid him. They probably were nervous because he asked for money, right? So they probably were worried that if they didn't pay him, he'd go somewhere else. And at that time, Tyshawn Jones was, you know, he's still super hot now, but at that time, I think when he was first with Supreme, he was getting a lot of the skaters of the year. So he was super legit, always getting skater of the year with these incredible fashion magazine covers. And he was also super hot, right, in terms of like the streets and what he kind of looked like and shit. So Supreme knew the value he brought to the brand. So I think Supreme overpaid him to begin with on purpose because they wanted to keep him. But then over time, they probably realized, oh shit, we're paying him too much. So I think Supreme were looking for any excuse to end his deal. That's my opinion. I think the Marc Jacobs thing was a bit of an overreaction, but I think they did that because they secretly wanted to get him off his deal anyway. They didn't want to keep paying $83,000 a year. You know, they kind of realized, oh shit, I think we overpaid. But obviously they locked into a contract. They're gonna have to continue paying it, and Tyshawn gave them the excuse to terminate the deal. Now, the thing that's really been interesting to see has been some of the comments, like this guy here called Lade. Big up Lade on social media. He's quite a good follower when it comes to posting a lot of the historical facts and history regarding certain streetwear pieces and just designer clothes tied to hip hop and shit. I really recommend you check him out. This guy called Lade or Lade. His account is Lade Platinum, all one word, LADE PLATINM. PLATINUM. Fucking hell, can't spell that right. But you get Lade Platinum. He said something that I thought was incredibly dumb, but I also thought was incredibly funny because a lot of people kind of agreed with it. He said, I don't know why niggas are calling him, Tyshawn Jones, stupid. $83,000 after taxes is 60 grand a month. Only a retard thinks that 600 grand a year is enough to be walking billboard every single day. That is insane. And I wonder if this thinking in social media has led some people to make the wrong decision when it comes to advertising and sponsorships and whatnot. I think collectively, us as people, are overcooking and overvaluing our importance to these brands. I think people look at Supreme and probably see their, you know, how much they make, how much they're worth as a company, and they automatically associate whatever the number is. Like, let's imagine, like, how much is, I don't know, how much is Supreme worth? I don't actually know. Let's see. How much is Supreme worth? At last time I checked, Supreme was acquired by Ezola Luxottica for 1.5 billion in July. Previously, VF Corp purchased the brand for 2.1. So let's put those two figures together. Let's say roughly Supreme is valued at a $5 billion company. Some people will see that figure and think, oh, because it's valued at $5 billion, that means if I sign a deal with them, I'm due to get 100 million. Or, you know what I mean? And I don't think that's the case. I think people need to understand that Supreme's history and Supreme's brand value was built up mostly due to the hard work that James Jebbia and co did building the brand from the ground up. You know what I mean? That's where the value of the brand came from. Like he kind of invented and started it, the brand himself, built it from the ground up, is why the brand is still around. Yes, there have been some influencers and skateboarders and media figures and whatever else who've kind of helped along the way, but the quality of the product is the reason why Supreme is worth $5 billion. Is a $5 billion company. It's the quality of the products. And I think sometimes you can overcook yourself. You can sometimes overestimate your importance when you start walking around thinking 60 grand a month isn't enough for you to wear Supreme every day. Because I think, in my opinion, I personally think 60 grand a month is more than enough to wear Supreme every day. Because what you get from wearing Supreme every day, what you get from being in all the Supreme lookbooks and all the Supreme editorials, what you get from starring in a Supreme advert on the Supreme lookbook thing on Popeye magazine, what you get from being in a Supreme preview, what you get from being associated with the brand is worth way more than 60 grand a month. I don't think you can put a value on it. I don't think you can put a value on what it's worth to be associated with Supreme. Like, probably till this day, Tyshawn Jones probably gets, a lot of it comes obviously because he's talent with skateboarding, but I'm sure he gets a lot of opportunities now, still to this day, because his association with Supreme. That's how much value it brings. So yes, maybe on paper, because the company's worth 5 billion, if you're getting $500,000 to be a walking billboard for like 6 years or however long the contract is, it might not seem like it makes sense, but I think in the long run it does. Because number one, especially for Tyshawn Jones, he's got his own brand, right? I forgot the brand name, but I'm pretty sure he's got his own brand. They either do tracksuits or something. I forgot what the name is, but he's got his own brand. He's clearly entrepreneurial himself. So you not only get a chance to work for a brand like Supreme, you also get to see it from the inside right? Behind closed doors, you get to see how it operates. You get to form this close bonding relationship with James Jebbia, who's legitimately might be the most important person in streetwear, apart from maybe Nigo and Hiroshi Fujiwara, right? You get to see how he does and operates the business. You get to talk to everybody else in and around it. You get the brand cachet that comes with being associated with Supreme. All of those things, I think, make up for whatever difference you think you should be paying monthly. And you also get on top of that money that you're not, that's not the one thing you're kind of depending on. I'm sure Tyshawn Jones has other things that he does that he gets money, you know, give or pay to him, but he doesn't probably rely on Supreme's paycheck only. You know, I don't think he does. He's so much of a talented skateboarder. He's got his Adidas deal. He's always on the cover of Fashion. He's probably got other sponsors in terms of grip tape and everything else and trucks and shit. So he definitely gets paid very well and from other ventures. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw something about him having some sort of like food thing. He's quite entrepreneurial. I'm pretty sure I saw something about him either having, he's got his own brand, and I think I saw something about him doing some sort of food thing, food truck. I don't know what it was, but Supreme is not his be on end all. So he should have been more than happy to get 83,000, 60 grand after tax a month to wear Supreme for the set amount of years, learn what he can from the brand, absorb it all in, be a part of creating, be a part of making fucking, you know, streetwear cultural history by appearing with these lookbooks, having these images last forever, all this malarkey. And then after the contract is over, you can then decide to kind of, you know, put yourself out there and model maybe for other brands and shit. That's what you can do. But I don't really understand why he decided to, you know, think the Marc Jacobs thing was a good idea. But I think this type of thinking might be the reason why he actually lost the deal in the first place, you know? This thinking of like, oh, because I'm this big social media person, I deserve this amount. Where it's really like, the brand is the most important factor here. You might be important in the here and now because of your social media, you know, reach and whatever else it may be. But if that brand wasn't, if Supreme wasn't Supreme, Tyshawn Jones wouldn't be interested anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the brand is the most important factor. You also play a role, get compensated and make sure it's enough for you. You know, it's a good figure. But this idea that it should be anywhere in the millions is crazy. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's fucking crazy. It really is fucking crazy. And it's for a certain amount of years. I don't know how long it was. I'm assuming it's probably like a multiple year contract, but I don't think it made any sense for it to be anything else but that, you know, because they needed to work for Supreme too. They need to have a deal that worked for them. And I think a multi-year deal where you have to wear Supreme head to toe was more than okay. And I think what that deal meant as well, from what I understand, those deals don't mean you have to wear Supreme head to toe in your everyday life. It just means you can't be in adverts. You know what I mean? You can't be bait. Like, if you go to like a public event, just make sure you're wearing fucking Supreme. You can't be doing kind of campaigns and lookbooks for other brands, no matter if they're fashion or whatever. It's still going to look bad. Like, I think even if you would have starred in a fucking Samsung's streetwear campaign, you still would have got in trouble. He still would have got his fucking contract terminated for sure. Just don't be dumb and you know, and wear other brands when you've been sponsored by a brand that legitimately makes the entirety of your wardrobe. It's pretty fucking stupid, I think, personally. And I think this way of thinking as well is insane, because I think, you know, you kind of overestimate your value in this equation. Yo, big up Lucid. Look at Lucid. Maybe the skate team was paid by working in a shop there before. I don't know. I know that the people in the store get pretty decent discounts, though. I know that's true. I think that's why a lot of the people stayed in, and I think the hourly rate is pretty decent too, working Supreme. But I've heard what you get for uniform as a store employee is really good. They really sort you out in Supreme. So you know, that might be the reason why maybe they're okay with it. Who knows? Big up Don Dota. True, the cultural capital cannot be understated. Exactly. Plus other skaters out there getting 1 million a year exclusive sponsor contracts. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird thing to do from his side of things. But I think this type of thinking from Lade is not helpful, because I think it makes people go into the negotiations or go into working relationships thinking, oh, I deserve more. It's like, not really. You don't really deserve more. Like, what they're giving you is pretty decent for what it is. Take that, learn from that, and go on and do other things. But losing that deal because you wanted to be in the Marc Jacobs campaign is absolutely idiotic in my personal opinion. But hey, what do I know? And I have a couple other people here. Derek guy, Die Workwear, said, I know the ship has long sailed, but I dislike how normal it is now for brands to pay people to wear clothes. It distorts culture as we read the person's choices as being part of their stylistic expression rather than being an ad. I think that's largely true. I think streetwear's kind of origin comes from seeding. I prefer seeding. I prefer seeding to your friends. Like, one of the coolest stories I remember hearing about the birth of streetwear was the creation of Bape, courtesy of Nigo. And I think he shares this back in the day where when he first made Bape, when he was selling it out of Nowhere, right? The store Nowhere that he did with Jun Takahashi. No, Hiroshi Fujiwara, right? No, Jun Takahashi wasn't involved in Nowhere, I don't think so. But they had a boutique in Tokyo called Nowhere, and when Nigo first made Bape, he would make 30 t-shirts, screen print 30 t-shirts, give out 15 to his friends and family, and then sell the other 15. And obviously his friends and family were all cool kids, right? And people, and they'd be wearing them out, and people would see them wearing it and they'd want the shirt, and they'd come to the store, they'd develop a queue, they'd want to buy them, they will sell out, and then he kept repeating until the point where you get to, you know, where everything was selling out really quickly. And that's how it's always been with streetwear. Like, you seed your stuff out to cool people that you like or your friends. They wear it first, people see them wearing it, and then you drop it, and you hope them wearing it can add to your sales. But I think in this regard, it made sense for Supreme to pay him because he was a skater. I don't agree with paying influencers to wear your stuff. I don't agree with that at all. I think influencers shouldn't be paid to wear anything. They should either buy it themselves, or they should be given 1 or 2 free things to help you with a promo and marketing. And it's a mutually beneficial deal, because they might also like your brand, and then you also might get a chance to maybe sell more shirts because they're wearing it. But when you're a skater, that's a different thing, because you're on the team. You're on like the Supreme skateboarding team, and that Supreme skateboarding team sometimes goes on tour. They release DVDs, you know, they put out products and shit. They do demos. Like, those things are important. So you should get paid if you're on a Supreme skate team, as you would if you're on any brand skate team. You'd get paid, you know. So I think that makes sense for them to be paid. And then last one, for 83,000, I'm not even gonna stand under a H&M umbrella in a flash flood. What a fumble. Exactly. You think you'd think they'd run this deal for no, they don't care about him. Fucking idiot. Another guy says, 83,000. Yep. Can this happen to me? Can't front. This is my ideal job. Imagine that kind of shit had access to unreleased bespoke shit. Still one of the craziest stories. Interesting. I need 83k a month deal. I'll wear just my pants. What? He's a dumbass. I'm sorry, but this nigga's stupid. Give me 1 million a year to rep a brand, and I swear I won't even glance at the competition. So yeah, everybody's saying the same thing. Everybody's saying the same thing. Everybody's saying 83k a month. I would have named my firstborn Supreme. Yeah, so everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone's really astounded that Tyshawn would fuck up that opportunity just to wear a bit of Marc Jacobs in the campaign. A bit of a fumble from him, a little bit of a fumble from a man like Tyshawn. But hey, you live and learn, innit? You live and learn. Sometimes you have to live and you have to sometimes learn. Cool. Let's move on. Let's get rid of that. I also wanted to quickly talk about this. I think this is from Jeff Staple. Jeff Staple's obviously been going through a bit of a hard time on social media. He was getting somewhat trolled because of his horrible opinion regarding the Nigel Sylvester Jordan 4s, Brick by Bricks, that won Sneak of the Year last year, and him kind of hating from the outside, from the sidelines, about why it won Shoe of the Year, and saying that Retro shouldn't win Shoe of the Year, right? And everyone kind of went on top of him, or kind of attacked him, because, you know, it's Jeff Staple. Even though I think he had a good point, I think it was right message, wrong messenger. He's been trying to improve his rep on social media and rewrite the narrative. So he's been feeding some good information. And I think lately he put out this information regarding Airwalk and Virgil Abloh, which is fucking crazy. So according to Jeff Staple, Virgil Abloh was reportedly working on an Off-White Airwalk collab in 2016, before the Nike 10 collaboration came out. So before he signed a deal with Nike, he was actually developing a collaboration with Airwalk, which I think is pretty cool personally. Obviously, you know why he picked Nike over Airwalk. That, you know, no need to talk about that too much. But I actually think, as a designer myself, right, I actually think the proposition, the challenge of trying to make Airwalk culturally relevant again. I know that they're a legendary brand. They've got, you know, a lot of heritage tied towards skateboarding and shit from back in the day. But nowadays, ain't nobody wearing fucking Airwalk, right? Nobody gives a fuck about Airwalk. But if Virgil could have, through the power of design, through the power of marketing, through the power of using maybe some influencers and activations, if he could have single-handedly brought Airwalk back into the cultural zeitgeist, that would have been one of the things that you have to give him the crown as greatest of all time, because this is the sort of design proposition, design challenge, design brief that would make me super excited to kind of dig into. Like, here's a brand that's been somewhat overlooked, hasn't had the most cultural relevancy in a long time. We want to reintroduce it back into the scene now, into the market. How are we going to do it? Let's do it. Figure out a way. That's a better challenge, more interesting challenge, I think, than here's a Jordan 4. Pick a colorway you think it's going to sell out. You know, I think we could all do that. I think most of us with decent enough taste could, you know, design a pretty decent Jordan 1, Jordan 4 colorway and it'll do well. Or an Air Force 1. But if somebody told you, hey, you have to fucking get Fila lit, like imagine, you have to get Fila lit again. You have to get Fila lit again. You have to get Diodora lit again. You have to get Alessi lit again. You have to get Umbro lit again. That is hard, especially Umbro footwear. So I think it's the same level. So the fact that Virgil was trying to do this kind of goes to show you how his brain works, you know, what he's trying to look up to. But it also must have been pretty sick, innit? Because he went from designing this concept of these two, you know, sketched out ideas of he tried to look for with Airwalk, and then quickly getting Nike on the line. That must have felt incredible, innit? You're designing Airwalk ideas, and then suddenly Nike holler and say, hey, we got 10 shoes we want you to design. That must have felt like fucking Christmas. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen this. I would have loved to have seen this drop and the activations around it and how you would have done it, because I think it would have worked. I think it would have went off. So you got two silhouettes here. I'd call them high tops for the most part. You've got one particular one that looks more vulcanized than the other, and you've got one that looks more like what's that shoe brand? One of them looks more like a Creative Rec. I'm not sure if you guys remember that shoe brand, Creative Recreation. It looks a lot more like that. So this one looks like Creative Rec, where it's got like it's a high top shoe, but it has a piece that kind of covers the laces. Looks like Velcro, so it makes you look very sleek, almost like a Margiela looking wise. So I really like that look. This might be my favorite model, the one at the bottom, and there's one at the top here that's sort of like a more of a classic Airwalk shape, more of like a Converse, I guess, type of a silhouette. And it's got the Airwalk here on the side, logo A next to a perforated section onto the side, and it's also in white with also a label, the tongue there as well, that you can see. Really cool designs. And on the midsole, you've got the off-white Airwalk. What's that? Off-white percent. I don't know what the percent is about. Oh no, courtesy of Airwalk Classic. Sorry, my bad. I thought it's percent. I think it says CO. So I think that stamp that Virgil has on the instep of his Jordans, you already saw little signs of that stamp on the midsole here, where it says off-white, you know. But it also reminds me a little bit of what Hiroshi Fujiwara does with his shoes. He has the fragment design studio kind of text running along the midsole. So that's really fucking cool. I really like these. We have no idea on what the colorway would have been. Maybe this is a colorway. There's sort of like gray, white sort of mixture thing going on. But I think this might just be the black and white fucking scans. So we don't know what colorways you would have went for or materials. We just got the rough outline of what they would have looked like. And I think they would have went. I think they definitely would have went, and I would have loved to have seen how he would have attacked it overall as a project. And then of course Jeff Staples shared some DMs as well, some messages from Virgil. It says here, they're super fresh. I just got offered a deal of sneakers that may or may not be a non-compete clause. I'll find out in the coming weeks and keep you up to date. When would be looking to drop? Okay, cool. So that's when he was told about the Nike deal. So then he had to drop it. I'm guessing Jeff Staple was involved in the Airwalk deal. That's probably why he's got these text messages. I'm assuming Jeff Staple may have been a consultant, a fixer, go-between. Maybe he was working at Airwalk. That's why he's got these texts. But really interesting, man. Really interesting. Really interesting that Virgil was actually on the verge of dropping a shoe with Airwalk before fucking what's their face came in and said, nah, no thank you, mate. You're staying with us. You know what I mean? Big up fucking Nike. Nike were like, no way. No way, Jose, you are coming with us, brother. You are coming with us. Big up Nike. Big up Blood Clot Nike. Hold on, you should just delete some of these messages. How can I cool, let's just switch this quickly. I need to quickly just delete some of these. Someone's spamming my text on the fucking kick. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this mofo. Let me get rid of this mofo before we continue. Big up everybody tuning in. By the way, if you're watching the show live, I appreciate you greatly. Make sure you smash the like button for me. If you're watching the show live, wherever you may be, smash that like button for me. I really appreciate that so freaking much. But big up everybody tuning in. Big up everybody tuning in. Big up everybody tuning in. Cool. We did that. Let's get rid of the fucking thing and then move on and say this. By the way, big up, right? Big up Frank Cooke. Big up Frank Cooke, a designer over there at Nike. He's been kind of cringe on social. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen him post some stuff about sneakers and stuff. I think I saw him post some stuff about like patent sneakers first. Let me see if I can actually find that post. I saw him posting something about some of these patent Air Force Ones, saying, "Oh yeah, we've been working so hard." Like it seemed a bit really cringe, but I kind of do appreciate the fact that he's, you know, a very vocal Nike designer. And he's letting it, you know, he's letting people know, hey, I design these things. I take my job very seriously. I'm passionate about shoes. So in a way, he's kind of annoying, but in another way, I do kind of find his energy to be a little bit refreshing, considering you don't really hear much from Nike designers on the inside and how they work, right? So this is the first time I saw or heard of a Frank Cooke. He posted this picture here of these patent Air Force Ones that are mostly blue body, patent blue Air Force Ones with a purple swoosh that has a bit of a gradient on there actually, which is a nice little touch there. It goes from really deep purple at the top of the swoosh all the way to the back of the heel, and it kind of gradients out right into this softer lavender light purple look, which is quite nice there. Neon laces, a nice enough colorway, right? He says in the caption, the task of making shoes people would like to buy throughout the week as a challenge, but a fun one. Y'all know I'm not even used to anything that I work on having a chance of being on the sales floor. Just know I'm super proud and thankful for the team that I'm currently on. Such a great group of people that make things happen, and I'm grateful for each and every one of them. Make GRs great again. So this is him basically, which I like, by the way. This is him kind of bragging and feeling good about the work that he's putting in on GRs, which I think is a far more challenging and far more rewarding proposition working at Nike than doing limited edition drops. I think limited edition drops, for the most part, you're going to be working on silhouettes that everybody loves for the most part. You're going to be working with brands that everybody loves for the most part, so it's hard to get them wrong. But I think working on a GR, like having to tackle the issue of how do we make a fresh new Nike Air Max for the Western market, you know, and make it under a certain retail price, factoring in materials and all that stuff. I think that's a really interesting design proposition. So I liked what he's doing there. He showed some more pictures of the shoe when it's just about to drop out, right? So you see that. Well, he recently got in trouble, right? And so another one was posted about the Chanel Air Force Ones, same but different, but great minds, I guess. He recently got in trouble, Frank Cooke, that's a designer, because he posted the following shoes. These sort of like foamposite looking type things. They kind of remind me of foamposites, this shoe that he posted, right? This up and coming Nike model. And they also kind of remind me of Demna's last Balenciaga shoes. The last collection that Demna did for Balenciaga, where they had those basketball shoes that kind of look like foamposites. They kind of look like a mix of those, but they're lows, right? In the caption, he said, the Nike First Sight Shadow is hands down my favorite breakout shoe. Better be in the top 10 sneaker of the year. It gives you that nostalgic basketball feel, super comfortable, and has futuristic design lines. Shout out to everyone on RNWY who worked on this project. Y'all killed it. I've been on these since day one and putting a stamp on these. Just wait until you put these on. I can't seem to stop wearing them, right? So that's the shoe model. So design wise, it looks rather interesting, especially when you zoom in. You see these amazing little bulbs, these kind of like silver orbs, right? They look kind of almost like they're liquid. I like the shapes here, the swoosh on the front tongue. I like the tread, the out tread here on the side, and some of the bits on the top. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're completely laceless too. Unless there's laces underneath this little kind of like elasticated section, they're completely laceless, right? So it's a really cool design, all in for all intents and purposes. But you know, it still kind of gives me foamposite vibes. Well, anyway, this is kind of a cool insight to see. As you can tell by the label on here and shit, if you're used to sneakers, you'll be able to see that these are definitely samples that they're still working on. You know, ironing out some kinks, maybe, you know, finalizing details like colors and finishes and fucking, I don't know, materials and whatever else, right? And tonality, whatever. They're still working on them, but still good to see an insight from an actual Nike designer on what goes into these shoes. And I'm also really happy to see that they actually are actively working on new silhouettes. I've said in the past that one of the things I hate about Nike nowadays is that they rely too much on retros. Although their retro catalog and their retro archive is just stellar, right? It's one of the best sneaker retro archives of all time, right? For sure. I would love them to try and challenge themselves, because they could just rest on their laurels, Nike. They could easily every year put out Jordans, Air Forces, and Air Maxes and make fucking multiple billions. They don't need to do anything. They don't need to do a single thing. But I would like, for the sake of sneaker culture, for the sake of design, can you push something forward and make a new silhouette? Like, could you make something new and fresh that helps to redefine a new era of Nike and push things forward and really kind of separate you from the rest, you know? And not only rest on the fucking archive of old shoes. This might be in a good direction. We're seeing some of it, right? We're seeing different propositions. We're seeing shoes that don't have a lot of paneling, that are maybe made out of one piece, that don't have maybe laces and have different type of enclosure, all this type of cool shit. So I like seeing that. And this guy legitimately works for Nike as a designer. So big up Frank Cooke. Well, unfortunately, he got in big trouble posting this. He got in big trouble from Nike posting this. So much so he had to post on his Instagram stories that he's not going to do this again. It's kind of fucked up. He got a big slap on the wrist for this. I'm happy to slap on the wrist, because I know these companies can sometimes be really finicky and they could just fire you straight away. So I'm glad he didn't get fired. But this is kind of wild to see Nike not understanding that this is also a big part of sneaker culture. Like being able to see the inner goings on, the work that went into something, you know, you'll be able to see little sneak peeks. This is also a part of like building up hype, because when these eventually drop, they'll probably be more hyped because of all this scandal than they were if they just would have dropped out of the blue. You know, it's going to add a bit to the story. So Frank Cooke updated his Instagram stories and said, "Welp, that's a blower, but I'm good. I will not be making any more sneaker posts that is affiliated with my current employer." By the way, I don't like how he said current employer. I'm hoping he doesn't get fired. I don't like how he said current. The way he said current makes it look like he's on like notice or something, right? They give him a written warning. my current employer. I don't like how he said that. Hopefully he's not in trouble, but it does sound like he got in big trouble here. I want zero smoke with policies, people's feelings. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of my content. I'm a pretty cool dude outside of shoes. I hope it's not bad. I hope he doesn't have to, you know what I mean? Because that sounds kind of sticky. And then he updated that and said the following. He said, I think they probably made him write this after this, because that other one sounded a little bit spicy. He updated it and said, I just wanted to say my fault to the sneaker community for previewing a first sight shadow on a desk instead of using the official images that were released by Nike 2 weeks prior. Also, you got a leak of a royal colorway, which isn't coming in the first drop. Please make sure to give credit to the design development team. Even the way this is written, it's written like an HR person, isn't it? At Footwear Composer Robin for doing such an amazing job on this shoe. Check out the following stories for official images provided by Nike Women's Marketing Comms team. So it's not even the men's shoe, it's a women's shoe. Oh my god, this guy. So I don't know. I think this is really dumb and short-sighted from Nike. I don't think they understand that these sort of people, they kind of play a role in adding to the lore of a shoe. Sometimes having these people just release it, like they could have easily had this guy because he's plugged in, I guess, and maybe a part of the sneaker industry. I don't really know much about Frank Cooke's history, but it seems like he was, you know, a proper sneakerhead who happened to get a job at Nike. So he's got a lot more say-so, a lot more cachet, a lot more rep in the community. So they could have used him as a de facto voice to get stuff out and put him out in, you know, to get stuff out to the other communities and shit. That could have added to the lore, added to the story. But instead they shut him down and, you know, done what they usually do and hide stuff behind closed doors. I think we need to see more of this. We need to see more of Nike being willing to preview new models that they're working on, to give people an insight on what's happening and to build up a bit of hype. And also just to kind of test the waters in terms of what people want. Because me personally, I'm fed up of seeing retros. I would much rather see Nike challenge themselves and make new models, and I just would like to see some of it, because I know they've got many talented Nike designers working at Nike, whether they're in Oregon, working remotely around the world. I definitely think there is a plethora of fucking super talented designers at Nike who aren't getting given the opportunity to really let themselves go and design something new. Because so far, the only place where you see really new silhouettes are like ACG, you know, All Conditions Gear. Your condition gear is the only department where you see a lot of like newer silhouettes. Anything else is just the same old shit. So I hope going forward they continue doing so, and they keep making newer models. But I hope also this Frank Cooke guy isn't in trouble, because that first statement I read kind of sounded like he was a little bit in trouble. So fingers crossed he's not. Fingers crossed Frank Cooke is not in trouble, because I don't think he did anything wrong. I don't think they did anything wrong by trying to inform the fans. But it is also kind of sad to hear that those shoes aren't even men's. They're Nike women's shoe, which is a bit disappointing. So it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is, I guess. Big up Frank Cooke. Big up blood clot Frank Cooke. Moving on from Frank Cooke, let's talk about Varg. Big up blood clot Varg. I'm sure some of you guys know who Varg is. I'm not the biggest fan of his music, I'm not gonna lie. I think it all sounds like dog shit personally for me. But I do like him as a person, as a personality. I like the way he approaches social media. I like the way he approaches his art. I like the way he approaches merch and just generally, right, how he kind of carries himself. But the music itself, I'm not going to lie, I can't say I'm a fan of it. I can't say I'm a fan of it whatsoever. But what I did like was that he was tapped by Supreme. Again, showing how tapped in Supreme is, to get him to basically advertise or promote the collaboration that they did with Teenage Engineering on the EP 133 KO. I think it's a synthesizer machine, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it an MPC? I think it's an MPC machine, if I'm not mistaken. So this is courtesy of RA. It says Varg stars in a new Supreme campaign. Varg is a new Supreme campaign. The streetwear titan has enlisted the Swedish producer for its latest campaign. The video shared by March 12th features Varg wearing a black hooded fur-lined jacket and a red cap and a black Supreme across the scene. The Stockholm artist can be seen testing out the Supreme's new portable sampler and sequencer named the Teenage Engineering EP 133 KO2. The product has been released on Supreme's site and it features preloaded melodic drum sample, 64 MB and 99 M sample slots. In January, Varg appeared on the two new Skrillex tracks called Someone Said and Cora, So the funny thing is, obviously, the sampler is sold out. You know that. It's completely sold out. It said here, courtesy of Supreme, the blurb, portable sampler sequencer with custom logo application, record sample, sequence any sound, and patch in audio input, preloaded with melodic drum sounds, built-in microphone and speaker, 4 groups of 12 sounds, and stereo and voices. So it looks fucking beautiful, right? It looks fucking beautiful, obviously. It looks absolutely fucking beautiful. You see the Supreme logo here. At the top as well. I love how they did the Supreme logo. So you got it there on the plastic, right? And it also appears there where the speaker is, which I think is a really fucking clever touch. I love that. And then you've also got some red buttons here tying with Supreme, and you've also got another Supreme logo on the back as well, and some other bits and pieces. But in general, Teenage Engineering's product design is beautiful. I love how they design things. I think Teenage Engineering design things so fucking beautifully. It's so well done. I really would wish one day, not too sure if this is possible, but I feel like there needs to be more competition with like CDJs. I feel like the only people that make CDJs are like Pioneer, or now they're called Alpha Theta, and Denon, right? Denon and Pioneer, the Alpha Theta, the only people that make CDJs. I really wish Teenage Engineering would make one, or I think that might be one of the ideas I should probably pursue, innit? I should probably maybe pursue that might have to be my long-term goal one day, to just make a really cool minimalistic CDJ. I feel like that's needed. I feel like now CDJs have too many buttons. I feel like there should be a CDJ that's just clean design-wise, that has like a pitch, a pitch fader, has some looping functions, a screen, and that's basically it, and a big jog wheel. But I don't think it should have more than that. I don't think it should, and obviously play and cue button. But I think that should be it. It shouldn't have too much stuff. I think CDJs now have too many buttons, but we need to have a nice, cleaner design one. So I wish one day Teenage Engineering would make that, or maybe it's something that I should do. I don't know. Maybe it's something I should do. But regardless, it's sold out. The Teenage Engineering thing is sold out, so you can't actually purchase it. But I just wanted to show you what the campaign looks like. So this is the video of Varg test driving the Supreme sampler in collaboration with Teenage Engineering. Yeah, don't get me wrong, so I like him as a personality. Sorry about that. Jesus Christ. I like him as a personality. I think he's really cool. I like the fact that he's a DJ and kind of dresses the way that he dresses. He has like massive fucking diamond chains, crazy amount of tattoos and shit. I love that when he DJ. I think I've seen a Boiler Room set of his actually. I think I saw a Boiler Room set of his where he's DJing, and I'm pretty sure he's like just drinking Hennessy behind the booth, which I thought was pretty fucking cool, right? He's just drinking Hennessy from the fucking bottle straight to the fucking dome, in the fucking booth and shit, having a fucking whale of a time. So I think that's pretty cool. I like that he exists in that capacity. But the music itself and what he plays is definitely not for me. It's definitely not for me. But I do like how, he kind of approaches things in a non-conventional way. This is him in Boiler Room, right? Yeah, this is him on Boiler Room. DJ. Yeah, whatever. I think it looks like he's got a Black Richard Mille on as well. I love this, man. I'm not gonna lie. I love the way he carries himself. Look, a Black Richard Mille watch. Looks like a Casio, but it's not. Diamond chains and shit. Kind of cool. But the music is terrible. I'm not gonna think the music is god awful. Yeah, so yeah. I think that's kind of cool, no? Just drinking Hennessy. When's the last time you seen a DJ behind a booth drinking a bottle of Hennessy? That's the most blackest thing I've ever seen in my life, but it's fucking cool. So big up Varg for that.
Me and my niggas in the back. I like the way she do it like that. Shorty wanna dance on my lap. They say fuck up, boy, you get fat. I be getting all this cake, 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 I.
Yeah, so big up Varg, that's pretty cool. Congratulations to him. Has he posted anything on his social media? What's he got on his own page there? It's a pretty cool campaign to be a part of. That's something that you want to be a part of as a fucking DJ, you know? Being fucking in the supreme campaign for that thing. I wonder who they're gonna tap. Emilion Dor did something with Pioneer, didn't they? No, with stuff with Techniques, innit? I wonder who they're gonna tap for that campaign. That should be pretty good as well. But yeah, he's out here. Even the way he does his social media is pretty chill as well, you know? Not usually how DJs do their shit on social, so I quite like how he presents himself in general, but the music in general isn't for me. The music is not for me. He kind of reminds me a little bit of what's his face actually? He reminds me a little bit of I forgot his fucking name. The guy from America that does also artwork. But yeah, he's got some good shit here. So he sells some stuff. He's out traveling all the time, having a good time with these pals and whatnot. Yeah, you can't be mad at it. Actually, is that YT there in the red? Am I bugging? Is that white? It's not YT. Oh, it's not YT. But yeah, I ain't mad at Varg. The music isn't for me, but I do like the way he approaches social media as a DJ. I think it's refreshing to see. It's refreshing to see. There's another video. Is that the same one? Or is that another one? This is another one, I think. Cool. Big up Varg. Big up Varg. Big up Blood Clot Varg. You love to see it. Cool. Let's move on from that one. We did the Varg thing. What else we got to talk about here before we dip? Apologies. Oh yeah, Stratford Rex. Let's talk about Stratford Rex. So, Stratford Rex. Stratford Rex is reopening in London. Stratford Rex is reopening in Stratford. Stratford Rex is reopening in East London. The legendary venue in East London. I didn't get a chance to go to Stratford Rex. I think when I was a kid it closed down basically. But it's a legendary nightclub. A legendary club, kind of, you could call it in the UK, was the club that basically birthed garage and grime early on. I think even maybe jungle sets, but I remember from back in the day when grime or garage was still a big thing. A lot of the early garage raves and whatever were held there. A lot of the early R&B and hip hop raves, because back in the day that was one of the big things in terms of like black culture in London, where these dances and raves where people either played bashment, hip hop or R&B, and a lot of garage, with MCs on stage and shit clashing or just rapping over beats and stuff as the DJ is playing. But it was a seminal venue, legendary venue. I think it may have closed down because of fights and deaths and stuff and the usual malarkey. But since then the building has not been knocked down. It's been turned into, I think at one point Stratford Rex was a cinema. Then I think the last occupants were, there was like one of those what are they called, like a jump club. You know those places where they have like trampolines and shit, where you can jump into like foam pits. I think that's what it got turned into. But it obviously is closed down again and it's been taken up by new owners. And these owners are the Columbo Group. Yes, the Columbo Group, the same group that owns Jazz Cafe, and I forgot the other club that they own as well, but they're intrinsically tied into nightlife. And big up one of the guys that works at the Columbo Group. I remember I used to see him a lot when I was going out. I don't know if he's still around. Big up Andy Blake. Andy Blake is like he's like a guy who used to work for Boiler Room back in the day. Super tapped into the industry and scene. He's been around for a long time. Really, really nice guy actually. Surprisingly nice given his job. I think most people that have that type of job are kind of assholes. Maybe it helps that he's not from London, I don't know, but he's really nice. That Andy Blake, I remember I used to bump into him a bunch when I used to go out a lot. And he's now a big player in this group called the Columbo Group. They own a bunch of venues. I forgot what other venue they own, but I know the main club they own is Jazz Cafe and something else. Well, they've taken over Stratford Rex. They're going to reopen it in next year. And I have to say this, emphatically, for my own sake, to just drive me to keep posting more mixes and putting myself more out there and posting more clips. I have to play here. I have to play at the Stratford Rex. I have to. Whenever this reopens, I must play there. Fold is still one of the long-term dreams, because I'm from the area and stuff. It'll be a shame. It would be fucking awesome to write that caption and say that as a Canning Town kind of like born and bred kid to be playing in the Canning Town club is going to be fucking awesome. But I must. One of the things that's on my bucket list after playing Fold, or on the same list as playing at Fold, is definitely be able to play at Stratford Rex when it reopens, because this is like a seminal part of London culture, especially East London culture, when it comes to garage and whatever goes going forward. So I cannot wait for this to reopen. This is incredible news. Even if you're not familiar with Stratford Rex, it's still fucking incredible because that part of East London is kind of coming up again. Loads of cool new things are popping up all over the place. There's actually a pretty decent hip hop club further down the street. I'm not sure what the name of it is called, but they've got a branch there, and they've got a branch in like Aldgate East as well. That's also doing big things over there. So it's kind of a place that's rising. So it's good to see these places opening up and bringing more life to the area. So let's take a look at this article courtesy of RA. A new 2,300 capacity venue open in Stratford, East London. A new project from the Columbo Group, the Rex, will reopen in late 2027. Taking over the iconic Stratford Theatre of the same name, the Rex is a 2,300 capacity space project to open in late 2027. The Columbo Group already runs Phonox. Yeah, that's the club they run. Sorry, they run Phonox. They also run a jazz cafe and the Maiden Voyage Festival. Have invested 50 million to the project. Wow. CEO Steve Ball said the firm is delighted to have an opportunity to breathe new life into the Rex and grow before the space. Oh man, I can't wait. Watch when this streaming thing pops off, right? When this streaming thing pops off for me, this is what I want to be investing into. This is what I want to be investing into and building. I can't wait. When this streaming thing pops up for me, the first thing I'm gonna do, forget a Lambo, forget a Richard Mille watch. I'm opening my own nightclub. I swear to God, on God in heaven, the first thing I'm doing is I'm opening my own nightclub. Of course, the first thing I'm doing first will get a studio, for sure. But I'm definitely gonna open my own nightclub. This is the way to go. Because I didn't know, 50 million doesn't sound like a lot, to be honest, to take over that venue. That's like prime locations right on the strip. The station's like 2 minutes away from there. Like I think there's a DLR station right around the corner. That's an incredible price, 15 million for that. And if it ends up being as good as I think it's gonna be, then the big DJs they're gonna book, like it's gonna be fucking sick. It's going to improve the whole area in terms of properties as well. Like, oh, that's so cool. Built in 1896, the Borough Theatre, Opera House, the Rex has a 130-year history. Let's actually check it. Actually, hosting events such as Dan Ganassia, Mark Radoff, and Rudy Da Silva during the 2010s. There's actually a really cool video about it that I want to actually play here, courtesy of YouTube, where they talk a little bit about the history. This is courtesy of the Rendezvous Project, Stratford Rex, Stratford Rex, Stratford. Let's check this out.
The Stratford Rex opened on Stratford High Street in 1896, originally as a theatre and opera house. It was remodelled in 1933 as the Rex Cinema, which closed in 1969. After a short period...
Oh wow, it looks like Coco's on the inside, doesn't it? Wow, look at how it used to look in the past, man. Incredible. It actually looked like Coco before.
As a bingo hall, the building returned briefly to cinema use in the mid-1970s and then operated through the 1980s as the Ace Cinema, also hosting reggae nights. A fire in 1975 left large parts of the building disused, and for over 20 years it stood semi-derelict at the heart of Stratford. In 1996, local promoter and one of UK rave's unsung heroes, Kenny Sting King, with partners Alan Harris and Malcolm Campbell, led efforts to restore the venue, investing heavily to reopen it as a large capacity entertainment.
Yeah, well, given its history and its roots with black culture, like I have to play there, innit? Come on. Because obviously when Columbo Group take over, they're going to have their own vision of who they're going to book. I can only imagine the amount of sick DJs they're going to have played there, because I'd imagine, you know, there's not a lot of venues. That's the thing. They're probably doing this because there's not enough venues. I'm imagining they probably, because this is a clip of Movado. Wow, Movado performed there in 2008. Incredible. So they're probably buying this because they need more venues to book more artists, because they're obviously what do you call them? Do you call them an entertainment company? I don't know what you call Columbo Group, but they basically manage a bunch of venues that they own and operate. But they probably also work to promote certain nights. So if they want, let's say, I don't know who, think off the top of my head, if they want to book Cormac to play somewhere, there's probably not a lot of venues that Cormac can play at in London, because most of the venues Cormac could play at are usually booked months and months in advance. So you'd want more venues on your fucking roster, so that if you wanted to book someone like a Cormac, you've got a venue that you can chuck him in, and put him on, and people would kind of attend. I think that's what they want to do going forward. And this is fucking sick, honestly. So fucking sick. The Stratford Rex, I've heard about Stratford Rex since I was a kid. It's been a thing. Oh my god, the raves of Stratford Rex, the raves there. This is also back in the day where, I think early 2000, late 90s, early 2000s, where there weren't any smartphones and shit. So you can only imagine how lit these parties were back in those days and shit. So, and I think there may be a book. Maybe I have to get that book. I think there's a book that documented that scene back then of all the people, what they used to look like going there, and you see a bunch of Armani exchange shirts, girls with big fucking gold earrings and shit, hoop earrings, like really fucking sick. So this is amazing to see.
Base, later known as Stratford Rex. From the late 1990s through the 2000s, Stratford Rex became one of East London's most important cultural spaces. It staged reggae greats such as Gregory Isaacs, John Holt, Coco T, Buju Banton and Capleton, and attracted international touring acts including Foo Fighters, Queens of the Stone Age, Shellac, Fugazi,
Queens of the Stone
and
Age
the
played
Prodigy.
there. That's so
Stratford
sick.
Rex
Prodigy.
was central to London's rave, jungle, garage, bashment and grime scenes.
Wow.
Legendary club nights filled its 2,500
Telepathy.
capacity hall and provided
Fire
a
in the
launch
City.
pad for grime crews such as Pay As You Go, Nasty Crew and Roll Deep.
Pay As You Go, exactly. Pay As You Go were the precursor to Roll Deep, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure Pay As You Go crew were the precursor to Roll Deep. So Pay As You Go were garage. That was back in the day. But I think Pay As You Go actually had OG members of like Nasty Crew in it too. But yeah, garage back in the day was so fun. So fucking fun, garage, that music. But look at the price of the entry, $13.50. Look at the time it's open from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. What's this? Telepathy, Christmas special, Boxing Night. Fucking incredible. Look at the flyers.
Dizzy Rascal's performance here is often cited as pivotal in his signing to XL Recordings. Despite closures in 2007, 2009 and 2012, the Rex remains remembered as a landmark venue where Stratford High Street met global touring circuits and the cutting edge of British reggae, rave and grime.
Look at everyone on the cover wearing fucking academics as well. Academic Stratfords were so sick. Live from the USA, ATL, Keisha White, Wayne Marshall, wow.
In 2025, it was announced that the building had been acquired by the Columbo Group, who planned to reopen it as the Jazz Cafe Stratford.
It's not going to be called the Stratford Rex anymore. Oh, that's a shame. I guess they've got to rename it. It's going to be called the Jazz Cafe Stratford. So it's going to be, so it's basically a jazz cafe. What do they do at Jazz Cafe? Actually, the lineup at Jazz Cafe, it's not all jazz, is it? Let me just double check. Are the Jazz Cafe listings, is it, or is it just the name of it? I'm pretty sure it's usually all jazz, no? Let's double check. The list. Okay, so they have live events, bands. Okay, David Rodigan. He's a DJ, I guess. DJ Obi, House. What's that? Afrobeats. Okay, so there could be an avenue. Oh yeah, Frankie Knuckles, Night, DJ Coco, whoever that is, Japan's hip hop wizard. I think that's like mixing and shit, right? The Beat Nuts. Okay, there's a possibility that it could be pretty lit. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna keep an open mind because I like the venue is like legendary, so I'm sure they'll do a good job with it.
Marking a new chapter in its long history.
I left the Wax Club and went to the Stratford Rex. I had a couple of parties.
That's Kenny Sting King, co-founder of Telepathy, talking.
Down there, they had already acquired the building when I got there from Newham Council. The Rex itself was derelict. So when I tell you derelict, so all the seats were dead. There was no stage in there. The whole place basically had to be completely refurbed. It costs about 1.2 million to refurb the Rex. It was very, very costly. You gotta remember, we're talking 95, 96. It was a real, true labour of love.
It became one of these sort of independent venues for communities, which was a little bit off the radar. So when you look at Time Out, it wouldn't necessarily give you the listings at Stratford Rex, but you know, you'd have to find out through word of mouth or going there or picking up flyers
So cool, man.
At the reception. So their main thing was, at the time, big R&B gigs. They'd have the African community events, and it was like this extravaganza. I went to a couple of them, and it was kind of joyful chaos, really. It was great atmosphere in there.
We performed in Stratford Rex. Dizzy told Varg² that they could perform there, and I was with them. So I think we went
Varg².
on, all sprayed out like the most famous lyric, like got some crowd reaction, crowd response, felt good.
Stratford Rex, this place on the corner that used to be a cinema, like it was now like known as the place to be if you was a dancehall or reggae act. If you wasn't booked in London and you wasn't at Stratford Rex, then it was like, okay, you're not quite in the big league. It's crazy, especially when you get to go from one of the smaller rooms onto the actual main stage, and then looking into it, it's crazy. And the way it was set up is that you're on the stage and you've got everyone there at the bottom, but then it used to go up and there was a few steps, and then there was like a middle section where people, when it was really around night, people would go up there just so they could see over the crowds. Then also you had the auditorium at the top as well. So when you had a run night, it was really good to look at. It was just amazing. Like, and the place was just so big. It just seemed like it was massive. It's just off having Shaggy in the Rex.
So
it was
cool,
like,
man.
Shaggy.
Look at the fucking people with the food as well outside. So cool. This is so fucking sick.
It's Stratford.
And you still now you see those people outside the Fold, because there's like I'm not sure if it's an African club or a Caribbean club, but there's a club around the corner from Fold that's also like an African club, or black person club, and you see a bunch of these guys with their drums cooking chicken and shit out there. So it's quite cool to see that contrast of like the hipsters and all the cool kids coming from Fold, interacting with all these people. So it's fucking sick. I love it. London is I love how multicultural London is, man. It's fucking sick.
Rex, like, it was crazy, and at the time it was just surreal, but in the time we was just in the moment, and it's like afterwards you look at it, it's like we had some real A-listers come up in this place.
But yeah, so big up Columbo Group, man. Can't wait to see when that opens, and like I said, that's on my bucket list, man. I have to play there. I fucking must play there. There's no argument, no if buts or maybe. I must play there. I must fucking play there. Talking about must, let's talk a little bit about Jeff Mills. Jeff Mills performed, didn't it? Live at the Liquid Room, 30th anniversary. Legendary set. I know most of you guys have heard. I think I've listened to it, millions of times. I think it recently re-released, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So it's available now at Apple Music if you want one. I think I've got a CD of it somewhere, I'm not mistaken. He did a world tour for it, which I completely missed. The world tour. It was in Fabric, actually. The first stop was in Fabric last year, November. Fucking crazy, right? It's a tour that went on from November all the way until fucking March the other day, at the Knockdown Center in New York was the last date, but I unfortunately missed out on the London date, which standard when it comes to me. He played in the RSO when he was at Berlin, one of the best venues out there, actually, apart from Berghain. That's fucking sick. So I wanted to see what people are saying, and from what I've been seeing online, people have been having only good things to say so far. So if I go on the Raves NYC Reddit, you'll see Jeff Mills at KDC. This particular post here, no, this was one like this was before. There's another one that says where they're going. Let's see here. Jeff Mills at KDC. What did it say? Yeah, there you go. This is the one. So this person here said Jeff absolutely killed it. Ken Ishii was phenomenal, but holy shit, that crowd sucks so hard. Barely anyone dancing, people talking non-stop, constantly on their phones. Some chicks started flashing a laser pointer at the crowd. It was so dope seeing such a legend of techno, but the crowd was such a vibe killer. And that, my friends, is the problem with modern day raving. That, my friend, is the problem with modern day raving. Whoever's playing, it doesn't necessarily matter. If the crowd is shitty, it just ruins the night. That's the problem. I feel like in the past, there was a potential for a DJ to sort of like force their will into the night and to turn it by the songs, by how sick they're playing. The transitions, the selections, just, by pure force of will, they could just like, give it a fucking left turn and get the night popping again. But nowadays, if the crowd sucks, or if you start to, what I've noticed actually, if you go to a night out and you notice a crowd is bad, stop noticing. If you notice a crowd is bad, stop noticing and just go as close as you can to the DJ booth and just lock in with the DJ. If you keep noticing the crowd, it's gonna be like an earworm. It's gonna stay in your head. You're not gonna be able to get it out, and it's gonna ruin your night. But as soon as you notice the crowd is shit, as soon as you have like a one bad interaction with somebody, as soon as somebody steps on you or some girl pours a drink on your trousers and doesn't say sorry, whatever happens, just immediately run to the booth. Run go as close as possible as you can to the booth, and don't move. Just stand there And by force of just being next to the DJ and watching them do their thing, it might improve your night out. That's what I've noticed. That's what I think actually works. Because if you notice people are having a bad time and they're not the best vibe and they're a shit crowd, it's completely ruin your night. Someone says, where were you? I feel like everyone around me was dancing. I was at the front near the left side. I mean, there was some pockets of people dancing, but for the most part, all I saw, at least people were standing still here and sitting back, killing me. But I don't think it was too bad on the left hand side of the stage. Would have been in and around you. I felt the vibe atmosphere was strong, but it was a bit much older crowd, so the visceral bouncing was definitely less. That makes sense. The crowd was full of boomers, right? The crowd was full of boomers, so they couldn't really dance and jump. To be fair, I noticed when I went to Fold to go watch what's his fucking name, Plastic Man, right? When I went to watch Fold to see Plastic Man play, I quite liked the mix, because I think sometimes the great thing about legends, right? The good things about legends, like I imagine same thing if you go see like Carl Cox. If you go see like a legend like Jeff Mills, what you'll see in a crowd, you'll see a lot of older people, so people who grew up listening or going to see Jeff Mills when he first started, like people that are the same age as him. I think James Mills might be like 60 or something, right? So what you'll see are people who grew up on Jeff Mills, who actually went to see him play when he was on his come up. You'll have people who kind of were the second generation who maybe, you know, idolized him as a DJ from afar and went to kind of emulate what he was doing. And you also see the younger kids who kind of have heard about him but don't know much about him. So I quite like that when legends play. When legends play in club is the only time you get like a really interesting blend or range of ages and people. Because that's what I really liked when I went to see fucking Plastic Man in Fold. It was like, oh shit, it's actually quite cool to see like someone here that looks like they're 60, someone here that's like 40, someone here that's like 25, someone here that's like 18. I quite like that, you know. I quite like having that range, because that's how clubs used to be. Clubs used to be like that. Nowadays clubs are kind of, you know, mostly full of people from 25 to 45, but back in the day clubs used to be a lot more broad in terms of ranges of ages. It's not over yet. The chick with the laser pointer looked like she was scrawled out of a trailer park. Some real miserable fucks in the subreddit. I've been to hundreds of shows in the basement regular. The crowd was great. One thing that always confuses me about these posts is that basically every crowd is good in bad areas. You can just move. That's what I've always said, by the way. That's why I think the whole yapping thing in clubs has been overstated. Like, if people yap too much on a dance floor, move. Usually in clubs, I've noticed if people are annoying you in one pocket, all you got to do is basically move like 2 steps to the side and it just goes away. It's not that because somebody's, you know what I mean? It's just, I moved around a bunch and found good and bad. It's a humongous venue, which is fantastic to move and find the tribe. Also amazingly bumped into, bearing in mind I've been clubbing for 3 times, someone I had known at one of these nights in January last year, Patrice Boumel, all dayer. Our dance floor antics ended up in the house. 20 epic afters last night was lit. Don't tell me otherwise. If everyone else's problem, you are the problem. Yeah, I like that post. I went and had a fucking amazing time. Everyone with me was dancing. Because someone clear up to me who played. I was expecting the following, but even on arrival it seemed things were a bit off schedule. Joe Beltran wasn't even building a lineup. Yeah, everything was 30 minutes delayed from the KDC Instagram set times. Movie Mills immediately. Ishii took over around, and then Mills back on. That's actually quite good, isn't it? Movie Mills immediately, Ishii on. So it went Jeff Mills, Ishii, Jeff Mills, Beltram, Mills. That's quite cool. That's like how it used to be back in the day. Headliners sometimes will come on and off, have breaks. I don't mind that, you know. I quite like that. Like a headliner coming on and off, you know. That's not too bad. Oh God, same here. I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I managed to carve out a nice little pocket of myself without bumping to anybody. There was one woman in the middle of Jeff's set who kept waving her phone flashlight around like some sort of lighter. Anyone who took over Jeff not vibing with this, I don't know. Joe Brotam, Mills is back on. I'm waiting to see if it gets better. Mills started really strong but got a bit boring for the first half set. The crowd was amazing. I don't know if the rafters are never fun, the entire crowd in front of him. Fonton vibes last week, kicked the nights off. So funny because my attitude even cool. That's it. Yeah, so let me check actually the Instagram. People posted some clips. There's some clips here actually. There's some clips here. There's some clips of people who went to Jeff Mills. Let's see. I think this person went, right? Did you go Jeff Mills? Nope, you didn't. Did you go? Nope, you didn't. I think you went, right? Yeah, that person went. Let's see this. Come on, man. Filthy. Yeah, I don't know what that person's talking about, man. This sounds fucking, that sounds electric. Look at that. The crowd looks like it's jumping. There's rows and rows of people. Yo, big up Don Dotter, big up Don Dotter. What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? Jeff Mills was amazing. Never seen so many people at the Knockdown Centre after 5 a.m. Oh, nice. Crowd was great, by the way, and way better vibes at the back and the sides instead of near the booth. Oh, interesting. Okay, it's opposite here in London. Usually the booth areas, the better vibe. Usually that's where the psychos are. Around the booth is usually where most of the chin strokers are in London. If you stand next to the side and the back, that's where a lot of the fucking nonsense people that just talk all the time are, you know, or the people that are doing bumps are usually around the sides. But if you go to the front, that's where all the real people are. Big up Don Dota. Kin Ishii tore it up too, and Joey Beltran popped up for an impromptu set in the middle of Jeff Mills' second set. Love that. Yeah, defo crowd control when there's a mix of boomers and young heads. Saw this happen at Twiller reunion last week with Danny Tengalia. Big up. Yeah, also up left way before the closing. He or she missed the best part of the night. Of course they did. Yeah, of course. Naturally. To be fair, everyone in the post said the same thing. Like, we're still here. What are you talking about? You know. So I think you're right. That everyone in reply said the same thing. I think they all disagreed with the person. Oh, legendary track. Legendary track. So good. So good. Big up the Knockdown Centre. Big up the Knockdown Centre. Vibes. This is what's up. That's Len Faki. We don't want Len Faki. Yeah, I don't know. That looks live to me, man. That looks fucking huge, though, isn't it? God damn, it's like a big space. Look how high the ceilings are. That looks live. The sound, and this person standing right towards the back, because everyone's standing here. There's no dancing around here. This person standing towards the back, and the sound is lovely. It's carrying all the way through, but that is a massive space, man. Fucking hell. I wonder, like, how can you not lock in? Honestly, some people like, what are these comments on this Reddit? What are these comments, man? How can you go to this and not just lock in? Like, the music is too good already. Like, fuck the fucking people talking and getting on your nerves. Just lock in, man. Fucking hell. Couldn't stop dancing with Jeff and Ken. Look at this, another person. This is a better review. Thank you for the crowd around me last night of Jeff and Ken Ishii. The energy was palpable. The dancing was infectious, ferocious, non-stop. The way that Jeff and Ken built tension and brought us hanging over the edge before unleashing waves of unmitigating release. Shout out to people in the front left who couldn't have been the better dance partners. Yeah, that's what I love the best, by the way. I've only experienced that on Berghain and fucking Fold, where you're dancing so much, you're just locking people around you. Like, you're all kind of in sync. You don't even say a word. All of you are in sync. I love when that happens, when it's like a little group of you and you're all, even without saying, you're not all friends, you don't know each other, but you're all in sync and you're all kind of giving each other energy. Oh, it's the best. It's the best feeling. The best feeling. That was the first rave. That was my first rave. This person said, my first rave. I've always loved techno, but never got a chance to actually go out. I'll never forget the last night. What a beautiful experience. Amazing. What a way to see. What a way to fucking pop your rave cherry, innit? Joe Beltran, fucking Kenichi, and fucking Jeff Mills. Wow. First time seeing Jeff Mills. I've been dying to see him for ages. Legitimately an entire out of body experience. The entire time I woke up today and felt grounded, optimistic and refreshed. Something about that night scratched a deep itch I didn't know I needed. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Ken. Wow, this is a better review. Spot on. Friends dragged me out at 5 a.m. Still regretting about it. When did Jeff end? He played the second set. I left. Yeah, Jeff's second started at 3:30 a.m. It was incredible. I had at 4 a.m. But I love that. But I wish we need more of that. We need, because that's an old school thing. I remember reading about this in books. That's an old school thing where like a DJ would play, they would take a break, somebody would carry on for them, they'd come back again, take another break. So you'd get maybe 3 sets spread across the whole night. So you'd get different flavors for each set, because they might play an opener, let somebody else play the peak, then play the closing, instead of playing the whole night like how they do in Europe. I think I'd like to see that more often, man. That's quite cool. Take little breaks in between. Come back refreshed with new ideas. It was epic. I wanted to go so badly, but my best friends got married last night. I'm glad the event billing took place though. Yeah, fuck your friend's wedding, man. You should have went. Looks so good, man. Looks so good. Looks so good. Happy everyone went. Oh, is it Jeff Mills on the back, right? There's Jeff Mills there, isn't it? There's Jeff Mills there. There's him there. Oi! We got a booth shot. We got a booth shot. Honestly, I was rewatching a clip earlier with Ricardo Villalobos. I think to myself, there's not a lot of DJs nowadays that do that, you know, that manipulate or that use the mixer like a fucking sequencer, you know. They're so tactile, mechanical with it. Like, honestly, the way Jeff fucks with mixers is just on another level, isn't it? The dynamism he adds to the sets, like the stops and the little flicks and the level changes and the crossfader. Oh, the bass, the treble, like, I fucking love it, man. This, you don't get this from the new gen anymore. You don't get this from the new gen, man. You don't get this from the new gen. Oh, he signed his top as well. Big up the person. This person got their t-shirt signed as well. Is there any more Jeff clips? Once he's Jeff. Any clips from him directly? Nah, no more Jeff. Oh, there he is. There's Jeff there. Wow, using CDJs. Whoa, Jeff using CDJs. Whoa, Jeff using CDJs. Whoa. No, there's no 90. There's no 909, but he's got a little he's got some sort of thing on top of the mixer. It's not a 909, but he's got some. I forgot what it's called. It's like an effects thing. It's a little. I think I've seen other DJs use it. It's like a little rectangle thing. It's like a little effects thing on the top there. I saw. Fuck off. Looks so good as well now. He looks so... Oh, look at the crates at the back. Oh, whoa. I love it. Oh, he's got them on the floor. Interesting. Some DJs have them on a table, like a little table. He has them on the floor. I wonder if that's just a needs be. He's got them on the floor. There's like a little lamp light. He's got clipped. I guess it's just like what I was thinking you get on Amazon. There's little bending lights, right? He's got bendy lights clipped onto the lids of his vinyl boxes. They look like actual boxes, by the way, actual like things with soft cushions on the inside. And then he turns around and record things. This is one of the things that I miss not being a vinyl DJ. You know, primarily all I play is on USBs and shit, but this is a key factor of like the dance of the performance of a DJ. Right, you're playing a tune and you turn around, you're quickly flicking through to see what was work next, then you turn back again to make sure you check the time and not be sure. I mean, that kind of performance is a part of it. It's a really big part of it. He looks incredible though. He looks in good nick. Oh, Jeff Mills looks in good nick. Black outfit. Is that a satin or some sort of satin? Fucking long sleeve top there. Got very, very unproductive for a DJ, but Jeff Mills make it work, by the way, right? He's wearing, it looks like it's either what, corduroy, whatever that is. It's not good material to be in a rave, but he's making it work. Headphones don't leave his head, by the way. Headphones still on his head. Not like these new DJs who don't use headphones. He's got his headphones on his head. Headphones actually on his head. Big up fucking Jeff Mills, man. Big up blood clot Jeff Mills. Actually, too good. Big up Jeff Mills. Knockdown center, as you can see there. Doing his thing. Killing it. Hit the mix. I know I'm doing tomorrow. I'm recording a mix tomorrow. This already got me pumped. I'm recording a mix tomorrow. This already got me fucking pumped. Seeing him work his magic behind those fucking knobs. Oh my god. Anyway, big up Jeff Mills, big up everybody that went and saw him play. Absolutely incredible. You motherfuckers were lucky. Hope you know that. Hope you fucking know that. Big up everybody that was there. Big up everybody that was there. Okay, people, thank you for tuning in. Been a pleasure to have your company. That has been the Casino's English episode number 1021. For those of you that care, I'll be playing my song of the day. For those of you that listen to the audio side of the podcast, the song of the day will be courtesy of the one and only Bay Faction. I think called Donor, right? I think it's Bay Faction Donor. I may have there's my song of the day. I think it's Bay Faction Donor is my song of the day. For those of you that care on the audio side of things, big up Bay Faction. That is my song of the day. Bay Faction Donor, as you can see there from the screen. Bay Faction Donor is a song by Boston-based indie rock band Bay Faction, released in the 2018 album Florida Guilt. Known for its alternative indie soul style, the track features the themes revolving around modern dating customs and a prominent part of their discography, often noted for their dreamy yet intense sound. So Bay Faction, big up Bay Faction Donor is my song of the day, playing for only the live listeners, only the people on the audio side of things. Everybody else, random show starting in about 5 minutes. See you guys in a bit. Thank you for tuning in. Peace, blessings, love, as always. Bye.